Yet another day begins at the soul-sucking hellscape known as Westchester High. Ava wanders over to her locker and finds Jocelyn already there, grinning like a hyena.
Oh, look! It's Ava the witch!
Please, stop. Every time you use that extremely clever nickname, it just gets more hurtful.
It's supposed to be hurtful. That's why I'm using it, idiot.
Wow. Just when I think I've got you figured out, you dazzle me with new depths of cunning.
Jocelyn's brow furrows in confusion. Heaving a sigh, Ava nudges her to the side and starts spinning the dial of her locker.
Did you, want something, or is this just a random mock and walk?
Just wanted to check up on you. I hear you tried to visit them in the hospital.
This is a true fact.
Wow, so you were totally obsessed with him.
Not exactly your business, but I'm a human with empathy. It's a curse, so I try to stay positive. That was sarcasm, by the way.
I know what sarcasm is.
Cool, just checking.
You wanna know what I think?
There's not enough no in the world.
I think you and your weird friends lured them out into the woods so you could do a creepy love spell on him.
And then what? I sucked out all his blood with my vampire fangs? He was unconscious when we found him.
Okay, 1. That's gross. And you are gross. And B, I don't know how your weird witch stuff works. Maybe your spell went wrong and knocked him out.
Uh-huh.
Either way, you should stay away from that. Maybe you used to be bodied back when you were dumb babies or whatever. But he's got no loser friends now.
Oh, now I'm a loser too. Stop, please, it hurts.
Jocelyn suddenly grabs the back of Ava's neck, slamming her head against the locker.
Ow!
How about that, loser? Did that hurt?
A little dazed, Ava steps back from the locker, clutching her forehead.
Jocelyn, you are dead.
Oh, what, are you gonna make fun of me some more?
Ava clenches her fists and starts to move towards Jocelyn, but stops as she leans in, looming a full head taller than her.
You think I'm afraid of you?
Jocelyn pokes Ava in the chest, hard.
Sorry? What was that? I didn't hear you.
Anger burns in her stomach, and she clutches her aching head, feeling suddenly feverish.
Come on, speak up.
Oh, back off, Jocelyn. Right now.
Or what? Shrimp? You gonna sarcasm me to death?
She pokes Ava again, and her anger flashes red hot behind her eyes. A blinding inferno of rage that feels too big to be contained. So she unleashes it.
I said back off!
Thrown by some invisible force, her locker door slams open, hitting Jocelyn square in the face.
Ow!
She falls to the floor, clutching her nose. She looks down at her hands, which are smeared with blood. Then back to Ava in disbelief.
Ew! Did you just...
Before Jocelyn has a chance to get up, Ava turns and starts power walking down the hall.
The locker. I didn't touch it.
Ava stares down at her hands, remembering the way they felt just before the locker moved on its own. Then clenches them into fists, her mouth stretching into a wide grin.
Awesome.
That afternoon, Natasha attends an emergency assembly to discuss the rumors about Dan. On stage, Stacy's mom, Mayor Green, speaks from behind a lectern.
And I want to assure everyone that the doctors and staff at Westchester General are watching over Mr. Pierce. But just as important as his well-being is all of yours. So I want you all to know that whatever you're feeling right now, it is normal and it is okay.
Cody and Jocelyn snicker from the row behind Natasha's.
What if I feel bored and hungry?
There is no more, and it is okay.
Natasha tries to ignore them, but all she can think of is,
You shouldn't have come. Now he can leave.
Damn.
Natasha sighs, rubbing her tired eyes, and when she opens them, she notices words carved into the arm of her chair.
Dan was here?
Suddenly, a memory shakes loose. Natasha thinks back to another assembly about a year ago. Natasha remembers Dan sitting in this very seat, fidgeting with his car keys while the two of them talked.
Dan, have you been thinking about what happened back when we were kids?
What? No. I mean, I think about it sometimes. Not like all the time or anything, but why? Do you?
Natasha remembers him lifting a single key to the arm of his chair, gold teeth biting into red paint.
I guess that was the last time he and I really talked.
Natasha closes her eyes and thinks back. It's November, just before Thanksgiving break, at an optional assembly on community service. Most of the seats are empty, but...
Dan?
Natasha? What are you doing here?
Oh, you know, doing my civic duty.
You sound like Lucas.
So, what about you? Why are you here?
Oh, well, my dad said I should check it out. He said community service looks good on college applications or whatever.
Dan fidgets with his car keys. Something seems to be bothering him.
I should try to put Dan at ease. So, how's football?
Yeah, I mean, football is whatever.
Not good?
Huh? No, it's fine. I mean, it's a lot of pressure sometimes, and maybe I'm not crazy about that.
But
What?
But you do enjoy it, right?
Oh, yeah, right. Of course.
Dan flips his car keys in his hand. He raises one of them to the arm of the chair and begins to scratch at the paint.
Is everything okay?
What? Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm just, kinda tired, I guess. Today and lately.
Good thing Thanksgiving break is coming up, huh?
Oof, tell me about it.
Got any plans?
Yeah, my family's going up to my uncle's cabin out in the sticks.
A cabin in the middle of nowhere? Sounds fun.
Yeah, totally. It's nice every now and then. I can get away from people and just be by myself. Though, it can get a little weird sometimes.
How do you mean?
Well, all those trees and shadows and all that, sometimes they remind me of...
Dan coughs.
You know, stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
Dan holds Natasha's gaze for a moment. Then his eyes float away. On the arm of the chair, she realizes he's carving his name.
Dan, have you been thinking about what happened back when we were kids?
What? No, I mean, I think about it sometimes. Not like all the time or anything. But why? Do you?
Do I think about what happened? I try not to. It's not healthy to dwell.
Dan nods sadly.
I know what you mean. But it's hard not to sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
It's like this cloud that follows you around. Do you remember?
Dan's key scratches the armrest. Letters forming one by one.
do you remember that thing we made up in the woods, Redfield?
The breath catches in Natasha's throat.
Sort of.
Let me ask you something.
Dan's words come fast and fully formed, like a question he's been holding in a long time.
Do you remember how we came up with that name? 'Cause it's really weird and specific for a bunch of kids, right? Like, did we take it from a movie or something?
There's a glint of something in Dan's eyes. Something hopeful, terrified, desperate.
Redfield's name? I think we made it up. I think Jane and I saw it written somewhere.
Dan breathes a sigh of what seems like relief. Or is it disappointment? The silence between them hangs heavy.
Dan, if you ever want to talk...
Natasha reaches for his hand on the armrest. He jerks away as if burned, then laughs nervously.
Wow, hey, I don't want you to think I'm some sort of... I'm fine.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay, Dan, I'm sorry.
Dan fidgets, clearly uncomfortable.
I think maybe this whole community service thing isn't for me after all. I'm just gonna go.
He rises to leave and hesitates.
But, thanks, Natasha. I appreciate it.
Dan walks away up the aisle and out the auditorium doors, leaving nothing but words in the paint. Dan was here.
I did everything I could.
As her thoughts return to the present, Mayor Green is wrapping up.
And now, we'll turn things over to your school president, Lucas Thomas, with a very important message on wildlife safety.
Psst! Natasha, over here.
Natasha turns her head and spots Noah nearby, sitting with Lily, Ava, and Stacy. They wave her over as Lucas takes the stage.
What's up, Westchester High? Okay, let's make this quick. The sheriff's office has received some reports of bear sightings in the town over the last few days. So today, we're going to talk about a few bear essential steps you can take to prevent a grisly surprise.
The audience groans as Natasha creeps across the auditorium to join the others.
I don't know, guys. This sounds important. Maybe we should listen?
Lily, come on. We've heard this speech every year since first grade.
Besides, we have more important stuff to talk about, like what went down last night.
Last night is a blur. I barely even remember getting home.
What did you tell the cops?
Just enough. They wouldn't have believed the full story anyway.
I barely believe it, and I was there.
Noah sighs, putting his face into his hands.
I barely slept after I got home, and I had nightmares all night. What happened out there was freaking scary, man.
We handle it like pros.
Yeah, maybe you did. I was scared out of my mind.
Could have fooled me.
Noah scoffs, but seems cheered up.
You're a bad liar. Well, anyways, we filled these girls on what happened.
I still can't believe those plant skeleton things.
They sound horrible.
What? No, they were awesome. I mean, aside from trying to rip our faces off.
What about Lucas?
Andy texted him.
I still can't believe you guys are actually right.
Hang on, we need to get that on tape.
So, what happens now?
What do you mean? They found Dan, so everything's over now, right?
I doubt it.
Those monster things. I think they work for Mr. Red, like puppets.
What? He couldn't kill Dan on his own? He had to send pets to do it.
I don't think they were trying to kill Dan. At least not mainly.
How do you figure that?
Think about it. Dan was helpless out there. They could have killed him easily. But it was more like they wanted to take him somewhere.
But you stopped them.
Which means they'll be back. Whatever Mr. Red wants, I think he's just getting warmed up.
Natasha finds herself thinking about that conversation with Dan.
Dan, have you been thinking about what happened back when we were kids?
What? No. I mean, I think about it sometimes. Not like all the time or anything, but why? Do you?
Hey, can I ask you guys something? When was the last time each of you talked to Dan?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I don't know.
A couple years ago, maybe?
The last day of school. Just before summer vacation.
Natasha turns to Stacy.
Did he seem distracted? Did he bring up what happened when we were kids? Did he ask you about Mr. Red?
I don't remember. I think we mostly talked about our plans for the summer. But now that you mention it, he did seem kind of evasive.
Natasha, why are you bringing this up?
I've just been thinking about a conversation he and I had. I'm wondering if maybe he was stuck on what happened when we were kids, trying to make sense of it. And maybe
he went back to the woods by choice.
Well, there's only one way we'll find out for sure.
What?
we go to the hospital and ask him.
The 3 o'clock bell rings as Lucas finishes his speech.
So remember, be very careful.
After the assembly, they linger by the lockers as students grab their things and head home.
Hey, are you walking?
I don't have a car, so yeah.
Good. I am also walking. We should do so in the same direction at a similar pace. I wanted to tell you about something.
Hey, do you guys mind if I tag along? I have to return some books to the library, and with there being a bear and all.
Depends. Can I run faster than you?
I mean, probably. Unless I'm just saying that to gain an advantage.
I think I need to reassess your threat level.
Nearby, Natasha spots Andy, heading to the basketball practice, accompanied by his teammate Tom.
Hey, go on ahead. I'll catch up.
Sure thing.
Andy glances around, then pulls Natasha aside.
Sorry I took off before the cops showed up. I didn't want to risk... You know, my mom worries enough as it is.
Andy, all that matter is that everyone's okay.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Andy glances down the hall after Tom.
Well, listen, I have to get to practice, but talk later?
Yeah, talk later.
Natasha says goodbye to Andy. By the time she turns back to the rest of the group, Mayor Green is approaching.
Hey, Mom.
Hello, Stacy. Everyone, how are you kids holding up?
We're fine, Mom.
Natasha clears her throat.
Actually, can I ask you a question? You mentioned Dan is in the hospital. I was wondering, can we see him yet?
Oh, the hospital's not allowing visitors yet, I'm afraid. I think they'd prefer to wait until Dan wakes up first.
Wait, back up. Dan still isn't awake? Are you saying he's in, like, a coma?
I'm sorry. It's just too soon to tell. But as soon as there's news, I'll make sure you're all aware. You know, despite the circumstances, I'm glad to see you all hanging out again. You're good kids.
I reject that combination of words.
Well, I'd certainly prefer you to some of Stacy's other friends.
Mom, come on.
Speak of the devil.
Natasha follows Noah's gaze down the hall and spots Britney making a beeline in her direction.
And that would be my cue.
Likewise. Mom, let's go.
Noah, Stacy, and Mayor Green depart as Britney approaches.
Hi, Lily.
Hi?
Listen, can we talk?
Natasha and Ava trade skeptical glances as Britney leads Lily towards the doors. The two girls follow close behind.
Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
Britney rubs her forehead, as if grappling with a headache.
With Dan and everything, I was thinking about it, and I realized I've been kind of a bitch to you lately. And I'm sorry.
It's fine, Brittany. Thank you.
Great. So, I have a question.
Brittany's face lights up suddenly. Her eyes bright and grin full of teeth. Lily looks a little taken aback. Until...
Would you want to get coffee sometime?
What? You mean like a bunch of us? Or...
I thought maybe just you and me?
You and me? Wow. Yes, I'd love that.
Lily and Brittany exchange numbers, then part ways. By the time Lily returns to Natasha and Ava, she's beaming.
Okay, seriously. Is it a full moon or something? Was Brittany just nice to you?
Lily blushes as Natasha and Ava exchange uncertain glances.
Well, since we're on the subject of mysterious occurrences of uncertain origin, wait till you guys hear what happened to me today.
By the time Ava finishes her story, they're halfway down Main Street.
Bang! Slammed the locker door right in her face.
And you're positive there's not some other explanation?
I'm telling you, I thought it, and it happened.
No way. Is Ava getting weird supernatural powers like me? Am I just like her? Ava, can you do that again?
I don't know. I've been trying to do it again all day, but it seems finicky. I'm pretty sure I moved an eraser in social studies. I figure it's like a muscle. Like maybe if I rest a little, it'll come back stronger, and pretty soon I'll get all psychic swole.
I don't know about all this. Doesn't the timing seem odd? Like, maybe it has something to do with, you know...
Redfield?
Don't say his name!
Lily, he's not Voldemort.
You don't know what he is. None of us do.
She shivers as they cross the street toward the library.
Dan goes missing, turns up in a coma, weird monsters prowling the woods, and now this? Like, witchcraft stuff? What if Mr. Red is doing this? What if he's manipulating you? Or controlling you?
Okay, first of all, I object to the persecutory undertones of the word witchcraft. Second of all, I'm not being controlled.
But that's what you would say if you were.
Wow. I guess you might be onto something there.
Why would he do that though? What does a monster gain from handing out superpowers?
Servants? Or, no, what's the other word? Thralls. What if Mr. Red wants to make you into some kind of puppet? Like those other monsters.
Something about that strikes a chord. Ava shudders, then covers it up with a snarky scoff.
A badass like me? Pfft, that could never happen. Could it?
She looks to Natasha.
Ava, we won't let that happen.
Oh, Natasha, can you chill with that power of friendship stuff? You're gonna give me a cavity. But that does make me feel better. Thanks. Look, I'm not gonna explore this just because it's supposedly evil.
Lily starts to say something until Ava finishes her sentence.
But I'll be careful. And if I start hearing, like, creepy whispers telling me to murder my friends, you guys will be the first to know, one way or the other.
Oh my gosh, Ava, that is so not funny.
I mean, it's a little funny.
The sound of laughter carries them inside the library. Inside, Natasha mills around the stacks, chatting with Ava while Lily returns her books.
For real, though, I think there must be something in the water around here.
What do you mean?
This town has, like, a history of spooky weirdness. Witch trials, cults, you name it.
Did you say witch trials?
Yeah. Back in the 1800s, I'm pretty sure they hanged a bunch of women.
What? How have I never heard about this?
Well, it's not exactly the kind of thing you put in tourism pamphlets.
Lily returns from the counter.
What are we talking about?
Westchester spooky history.
Does it have one?
Yes, I'm not making this stuff up.
Well, if we wanted to look into it, we are in the library, and we might even be able to learn more about you-know-who.
I'm surprised you want to.
I don't, but if something is really after us, I'd prefer to understand it. Also, I just like hanging out with you guys.
Aw, that's so cute. I think I'm going to barf.
Lily and Ava turn towards Natasha.
Well, Natasha, what do you say?
Let's do some digging. So where do we start?
Follow me.
Lily heads to the library computer and sits down. Natasha and Ava crowd behind her as she pulls up a catalog search.
Okay, let's try Westchester and witches.
Lily hits enter, and a ton of useless results fill the screen.
So much for that.
Try organ cults.
Lily hits enter again and shakes her head.
Same thing. We need to narrow the search somehow.
Try looking for newspaper articles. This sort of stuff has to have turned up in the news over the years, right?
Oh, good idea.
Lily makes a few keystrokes, then pushes enter. A handful of promising results pop up on screen.
Oh, bingo.
Lily studies the search results.
Okay, I see 2 here we should check out. The first is a book, Records and Files of the Quarterly Courts of Klamath County, Volume 7.
On it.
Ava writes down the Dewey numbers, then disappears into the library.
What's the other?
Looks like a newspaper article from the 70s. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Lily clicks, and Natasha reads the article out loud.
August 22nd, 1976. Klamath County Police discover Forest Massacre? Holy crap!
The remains of 14 young men and women suspected to be part of a religious group were found in the Westchester woods several days ago.
Those are our woods.
Authorities characterized deaths as a mass suicide, but questions have arisen regarding mutilated remains and ritualistic posing.
It's gotta be Redfield. He must have murdered them, just like he did with Jane.
This is crazy.
Suddenly, Ava returns, carrying an ancient ledger with brass rings.
You think that's crazy? Get a load of this.
She bangs the ledger down, kicking up a cloud of dust, and plants her finger on an open page.
Trial proceedings for the people of Westchester versus... Wow, that's a lot of names. Who are all these women?
The survivors of a massacre on trial for witchcraft.
Ava motions Lily, and they lower their faces toward the faded print.
Testimony of Rosemary Willow, November 9th, 1871. Miss Willow, please describe for the court where you were on the night of All Hallows Eve.
Walking home from a masquerade party through the woods off Mill Creek Road.
Would you please tell the jury what you saw that night?
I saw people in the woods.
Let the record show that Miss Willow has indicated the defendants.
And I saw another?
What do you mean by another? Another person? Do you mean the deceased, whose bloodied corpses were found the next morning?
No, I mean him.
Him who? Miss Willow, who did you see?
Guys?
Let the record show that Miss Willow is pointing to the back of the courtroom and screaming.
Maybe we should give it a rest for today.
Miss Willow, please sit down.
Ava?
Miss Willow, what are you doing?
Ava!
Oh my God! Someone stop her!
Natasha slams the book shut, an inch from Ava's nose. The fluorescent lights buzz as the power comes back on.
You know, generally, when the lights start flickering, that's a good sign you should stop reading out loud from the creepy book.
I'm sorry, but Natasha, it was him!
Yeah, no kidding.
No, I mean back then, the trial. Think about it. A creepy entity, lives in the woods, worshipped by a crazy cult.
Redfield. And that would make 2 mass murders in Westchester, in the same woods within 100 years of one another.
Suddenly,
Massacre. Death. Back to life. Promised land.
Yo, Natasha!
Natasha is snapped back into reality by Ava's sudden shout.
Huh?
You were mumbling to yourself again, like in the woods yesterday.
Oh, sorry. I just think out loud.
Ava and Lily stare at Natasha for a moment, concerned, but they don't push it.
Okay, I'm officially freaked out. Can we be done for the day?
Definitely. But let's make copies of all this stuff first.
Natasha runs her findings through the library's ancient copier and assembles the results in a folder.
And thus concludes our spooky scavenger hunt.
Emphasis on spooky.
Good work, girls.
So, anybody else ready to go back outside now?
Yes, please.
Outside, Natasha and Lily wave goodbye to Ava.
Later, y'all. Don't get eaten by monsters or a bear.
Gee, thanks.
Natasha and Lily continue down the road and out of town.
I have to admit, even with everything that's going on, it's nice to be hanging out with everyone again.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Lily's phone buzzes. She pulls it from her pocket, reads a text, and blushes.
Who's that?
Oh, it's Britney. We're trying to decide where to go on our, date.
Her face brims with a tentative joy she struggles to contain.
Lily, I'm glad to see she's treating you more nicely now.
Me too. With how awful she's been the last few days, I honestly thought she hated me. Or something.
Why does she act that way?
Lily sighs.
She's not always like that, or at least she didn't used to be, before she went and got popular.
So that note you left, you two used to be friends?
Yeah, best friends actually.
How did you know each other?
We were in Scouts together, and we lived on the same block, so we used to share rides a lot. I got picked on by the other girls, and she liked having an excuse to hit people, so we just kinda, I don't know, clicked?
It sounds like you girls were close.
Yeah, super close, actually.
Lily blushes.
Actually, there was this one year at summer camp where Britney and I...
But Lily's words trail off. As something huge comes rumbling up behind them, they glance over their shoulders and come face to face with...
Hey, check it out! It's the Freak Parade!
A red convertible rolls up alongside them. Jocelyn lounges in the passenger seat. Cody sits behind the wheel.
Hey, check it out! It's a rolling dumpster fire.
Just ignore them.
The two walk faster, but Cody steps on the accelerator, matching the car's pace with theirs.
What's the hurry, kiddos?
What do you want?
Haven't you dorks heard? There's a bear on the prowl. I saw you walking and thought we'd give you a lift.
Yeah, sure.
How dumb do you think we are?
What's the matter? We're all friends here. Hop in.
Cody twitches the wheel towards Natasha.
Knock it off!
It's not me, it's the car!
Lily flinches as the car door thumps against her arm.
Knock it off!
Natasha wraps her hand in her sleeve and slams her fist into Cody's mirror. Deep cracks explode along the glass.
Yeah!
Hey, what the hell?
The brake lights flash red, and both doors burst open as Cody and Jocelyn step out onto the road.
This is a brand new car!
Well then, maybe you shouldn't be using it to hit people.
Oh, my bad! Would you prefer it if I hit you some other way?
Cody stalks towards Natasha.
Happy to oblige!
Cody pulls back his fist, but Natasha's instincts kick in, and she quickly dodges his blow.
What the?
Cody hits the asphalt with a heavy thump and tastes blood on his lips.
You two better leave us alone. You seriously don't want this.
Cody and Jocelyn's eyebrows shoot up. They look at one another and laugh out loud.
Or else.
You were the what? You smart test freak?
Jocelyn is about to give Natasha a hard shove, but she once again dodges.
No way!
Jocelyn staggers back, looking surprised, but they both continue to advance. At the edge of the road, the bushes begin to shake, and Natasha's instinct of danger rises.
Lily, look out!
Natasha jumps towards Lily, falling to the ground.
What the hell?
A dense cloud of crows explodes out of the trees, slamming into Cody like a fist and smashing his head into the car. The crows swarm in a cyclone of black feathers, tearing at Jocelyn with their beaks and claws.
Joss, get in the car!
Cody and Jocelyn scramble around the convertible and dive in over the doors as the birds menace them from all sides.
Get off!
Jocelyn swats one of the birds out of the air with a backhand. The convertible's engine roars as the car speeds off, and with a rush of wings, the screaming crows disperse into the sky.
Oh my god! Did you see that?
Holy crap, that was awesome! I've heard of karma, but who knew it was so speedy and efficient?
Yeah, those crazy birds showed up right on time. It was almost like...
Before Lily can finish her thought, she hears a small sound from the road. She looks down at her feet.
It's the crow Jocelyn smacked.
Aw, I think he's hurt.
Come here, little guy.
The crow pecks at Natasha's hand.
Ow!
Staggering to its feet, the crow raggedly flaps into the trees.
Poor thing. I hope it makes it back home.
Come on, let's get going.
Outside Natasha's house, she stops to say goodbye to Lily.
And you're sure you're okay?
I'm fine, but I wish I could have done more back there. I wish I wasn't so...
Tears well in Lily's eyes, and her voice shrinks to a squeak.
Lily, it's okay. Listen to me. Being afraid does not make you a coward, and violence does not make you brave. And you don't have to prove anything to anyone, least of all jerks like that.
Lily wipes her eyes on her sleeve.
Thanks, Natasha.
Natasha gives Lily a hug and waves goodbye, then starts towards the house.
Why is the shed door open?
Cautiously, Natasha heads toward the open shed door and peeks around the corner. But there's no one inside, except for the stone and the wired bat.
Who the heck left the door open?
The room remains silent.
I really need to stop talking to myself. Oh, I almost forgot.
Natasha takes out the files from the library and steps inside to stash them in the filing cabinet.
There, they should be safe here.
Natasha reaches for the handle to shut the drawer, and then Natasha hears it. A scuffling sound, coming from outside.
There's something behind the shed.
Natasha hears sniffing, huffing breath, heavy claws testing the walls.
The door, it's wide open.
Natasha's palms sweat. Every hair on her body stands on end. Easing forward on the balls of her feet, she slowly reaches for the door, when suddenly...
Hilda?
Natasha staggers against the wall and sinks to the floor as Hilda bounds through the doorway and clambers up to lick her face.
It was you who pushed the door open before. You stupid dog. You scared the crap out of me.
Sid pokes his head in.
Gosh dang it, Hildy. How many times do I have to tell you to get out of the neighbor's shed? You little... Oh, Natasha, what are you doing down there on the floor? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I thought Hilda was a bear.
Yeah, sorry about that, I swear. I don't know why she's so obsessed with getting in here.
Natasha ruffles Hilda's ears and sighs.
I do. This stupid shed is falling apart, so we get animals inside. Raccoons, squirrels. It's practically a zoo in here.
Ah, well, hey, if you're looking for another exhibit, you just reminded me. I wanted to ask, how would you feel about watching Hilda for a while? You'd be doing me a huge favor.
Are you going somewhere?
Yeah, heading out of town for about a month to visit my brother. I'd love if I didn't have to stick Hilda in a kennel that whole time. She's real well behaved. And if you don't want her in the house during the day, I could set up a little bed for her in here.
It would be nice to have a guard dog around. I love to.
Great! Hear that, Hildy? You're gonna stay with Natasha for a while. How's that sound? I'll bring her food over before I take off in the morning. Thanks again!
It's my pleasure.
Natasha says goodnight to Sid, whistles for Hilda, and heads inside. A few hours earlier, that afternoon at basketball practice, Andy and Tom run passing drills again.
Yo, what's up?
What do you mean?
You seem distracted. Is it that whole thing with Dan Pierce? You guys used to be tight, right?
Huh? Oh, I mean, yeah, but it's not that.
Andy sighs and nods up court to where Ben and the other players are running shooting drills.
Why don't they let us practice shooting? Small forward is my best position.
Because they have no plans of subbing either of us in during the game.
You mean ever? Why?
Tom shrugs, jadedly, but his eyes speak volumes.
You can't be serious. What is this, the 50s?
Look, this is the first time you've made the team, but I've been playing with these guys since junior high, and it's the same crap every year.
What? But the NBA has tons of Asian players!
Yeah, and those guys still have to deal with racist crap. People yelling slurs during games, teammates not passing to them.
Great, so I'm gonna be triple threat for the rest of my life? I mean, unless I suddenly stop being short, trans, and Asian.
Grumbling, he passes the ball to Tom again.
You know I don't care about that, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't mind that you're Asian either. Why even let me be on the team if they won't let me play?
Look, people suck, Andy. If it's not these jerks, it's people like my first girlfriend who wouldn't stop calling me senpai.
So why even bother?
Tom smiles, tossing the ball back at Andy.
Because you're not a quitter.
Thanks, Tom.
Andy puts on a smile as he tosses the ball back, but his pass is off and sails over his shoulder.
Whoops, I'll get it.
As Tom trots off after the ball, his gaze drifts back toward the other end of the court. After practice, Andy waits by the exit to the gym and catches Ben on the way out.
Hey, Ben!
Huh? Oh, hey, Andy! What's up, bro?
Mind if I talk to you for a sec?
Sure thing, dude. What about?
Andy joins him as they walk towards the rear parking lot.
Well, I was hoping to get a little more time as small forward.
Have you tried talking to Coach?
I don't want to. I don't want it to come across like I'm whining.
Ben nods sadly, patting Andy on the shoulder.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I feel you.
Well, so I was thinking, since you're team captain this year, maybe you could put in a good word for me.
Sure thing, bro. I'll think about it.
Ben smirks and walks away, and Andy feels a tingle of sweat on the back of his neck.
You'll think about it? What does that mean?
It means I'll think about it, or not.
Ben winks at Andy over his shoulder.
Hey, if you have a problem with me, why don't you say it to my face?
Ben stops walking. He shakes his head, laughing, and turns to face Andy.
Wow, you really like to push things, huh?
He walks straight at Andy, a friendly smile on his face.
Look, I'm trying to be nice to you, right? I figure I ought to set an example for the rest of the guys.
But what? Go ahead, say it!
Fine. You want the truth? Here it comes.
Ben theatrically clears his throat.
You're an affirmative action hire, bro.
What?
Andy's heart pounds and his stomach clenches.
The only reason you're even on the team with us is because it looks good for photos.
You gotta be kidding.
Yeah. Hurt your feelings? You gonna cry? Huh? You gonna tattle on me? You know, if you really want to help the team, why don't you do us all a favor, Triple Threat?
Ben puts his face an inch from Andy's.
Quit.
Ben turns his back on Andy and walks away. Andy feels tears in his eyes as Tom comes up behind him.
Wow, that was... Andy, I'm sorry. Ben has no right to talk to you that way.
Yeah. But he just did.
Andy?
Andy rips out of Tom's grasp and heads after Ben.
Andy, wait, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna kick his ass!
Seething with rage, Andy comes around the corner behind Ben.
Hey, bro!
Andy pulls back his fist to strike, then realizes Ben is standing paralyzed in terror as a dark, shaggy mass bears down on top of him.
Holy fuck!
The bear lunges down at Ben, yanking him off his feet and dragging him across the ground.
Help me!
The bear rolls Ben over hard, and Andy hears something inside his arm separate with a sickening pop. The bear opens its mouth, thick saliva dribbling onto Ben's jersey as it pants and heaves above him. But suddenly it loses interest. It releases Ben and looks around, huffing, as if coming out of a daze.
Oh, shit! Whoa there!
It glances at Andy, glossy-eyed, then turns and wanders off into the woods, just as Tom comes around the corner.
What's going on back? Holy crap, is that a bear?
Tom! Go get help!
Tom's shoes scuffle as he stumbles back and takes off running. Andy kneels by Ben's side.
Oh, shit! Ben, just hold on. It's gonna be okay.
My arm! I can't move my arm!
Tom sprints back into view, panting.
I found Coach. He's gonna go get the nurse. Is Ben okay?
I don't know. His arm looks pretty bad.
Geez, is it broken? What if he can't play in the game tomorrow? He's our only small forward. I mean, except
for me.